Hello all YouTubers, I am the Weather Dude. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, and this is our severe weather live coverage here for September 3rd, 2020. So as you guys may or may not know, we have some dangerous severe weather going on right now in the Mid-Atlantic, and I'm going to be tracking it live for you guys. So without further ado, let's get started. So don't forget to drop anything you want to say about the severe weather in chat, because I know there's going to be a lot of severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings, and we have some already, which is why we're going to be checking that out here today. All right, so first of all, the Storm Prediction Center has put out an enhanced risk of severe weather for Maryland, Delaware, Jersey, and Pennsylvania. And Jones RMJ is joining. He says, hello, Weather Dude. Well, how are you doing, Jones RMJ? I'm doing good. And so, yes, anywhere from Philly, from Baltimore to D.C., you guys are in the thick of this for today. This could certainly cause a lot of problems here. We're talking about tornadoes, hail, damaging winds, and rain, and this will be coming in over the next couple of hours. All right, some of you like Baltimore and D.C. are actually seeing it right now. Some place like Philly, maybe towards Jersey and Delaware Shore, could be a little bit later, maybe towards later part of the evening. But we have probably like 16 million people in the worst threat of this, including Philly, Baltimore, D.C., Arlington, Virginia, and Alexandria, Virginia. And even in the slight threat, okay, we still have over 7 million people additional in the slight threat and 26 million people in that marginal threat. All right, so we're talking about a lot of people. We're talking about nearly 50 million people in total just in the eastern United States under the threat for some dangerous severe weather today. Now, we're going to get a quick peek at the radar here, because I know you guys are dying to see that radar, and really it doesn't look too good, all right, especially for Baltimore and DC. And Jones RMJ says, how are you doing with the watch time? Yes, I'm getting very close, guys. So if you guys could, I'm expecting this to be about close to a half hour, this stream. So if you guys could please watch the entire stream, that would really help out my channel a lot. And if we head towards Baltimore, all right, we have one cluster, and it's already starting to head into eastern Pennsylvania. It's getting close to Philly, but we definitely do have a lot of alerts out there, and I'm going to be reporting it to you guys. And so it looks like we have actually some aerial flood warnings now, all right, in effect for places like northeastern Howard County. We're talking about southeastern Carroll County, northern Baltimore County, all right, is included, as well as southwestern Hartford County and northern Maryland, and even Baltimore City. So this is until 11:30 tonight. So this could be lasting for a decent amount of time. We have seen some Doppler indicate heavy rainfall. We're talking about 1 to 2 inches of rain that has already fallen, and we could certainly see a lot more than that. Again, Baltimore, Ellicott City, if you guys remember Ellicott City back in 2016, went to huge flooding that just overtook the streets completely. We had it in 18 again. Maybe the same thing could sadly happen for Ellicott City. And Jones RMJ also says, when is the storm going to reach us in Wilmington? So actually, according to the radar, Wilmington is actually starting to see some rainfall. Wilmington, Newark, we're starting to see the rain. It may not be too heavy yet. All right, we can certainly see, I think this is just a primary dose, especially for places like Philly. I think you guys could see even more storms coming through later this evening, potentially. All right, but keep in mind, this is a dangerous severe weather threat we're talking about, but it's not exactly guaranteed that everybody is going to get it. All right, this is not guaranteeing anybody. Although the threat is more widespread than we have seen, but it's not complete. It's not like everybody's going to see it. All right, now we also do have a new developing severe thunderstorm warning from York to Columbia, including Lancaster, Pennsylvania here. So a severe thunderstorm warning for central Lancaster County, east central York County, and south central Pennsylvania. This is until 6 p.m., so this will be over in 20 minutes. The storms, notice how the storms, usually they might race at 50, 60 miles an hour. This one's moving at 35, this particular one in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. So maybe the threat could last a little longer, and that's not good if the storm is moving slower. All right, that just means increased amounts of rainfall, although it is moving at a pretty good clip. Now, 60-mile-an-hour wind gust here is going to be the hazard. We are seeing, this is radar indicated, obviously, and you can just see, look at this. I mean, we're seeing a pretty impressive radar signature here. It just moved through Manchester. It is now in York, Columbia, heading towards Lancaster. So Jones RJ says he's working on a video, watching this. He might not be able to chat. That's okay, no problem. If you guys have anything to say about the severe weather that we are seeing right now, all right, don't forget to, you guys are, don't be a stranger. All right, don't forget to drop something in chat about severe weather, because we're seeing a lot of it today. All right, so heading back towards Baltimore, we have a developing severe thunderstorm warning for York to Lancaster, but we do have some stuff also to the south, so some other aerial flood warnings All right, this one is for the Northwestern District of Columbia, so Northwestern DC. We're talking about Southeastern Montgomery County, Northwestern Prince George's County. We're also talking about Northeastern Fairfax counties included in this. So this is until 11:15 tonight. So like I said, these flood warnings are going to be lasting several hours, which is not good for residents. And at 5:14, Doppler radar indicates some very heavy rain and flooding is ongoing or expected very shortly in the Warren area. So definitely want to stay away from those roadways. Those underpasses aren't going to be too good. All right, it's not very good of a spot to hide. Some areas include Arlington. I recognize Beltsville. We have Tyson's Corner as well in Virginia. All right, and even Rockville as well. So a lot of places in DC and Virginia. All right, it's not looking too good for you guys. Now we also have a flood warning. Actually, for this, let's go to the next flood warning. This one includes Silver Springs. I believe this actually is a flash flood warning. Actually, this is the flash flood warning right here. 1 to 2 inches of rain has fallen, and we're talking about additional rainfall. All right, so this is not good for people that live in DC. Not good at all. And when you look at another severe thunderstorm warning, this is in place now for Annapolis. We're talking about 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts with this one. The one in Pennsylvania has 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. We talk about wind gusts 70 miles an hour. That's nearly hurricane force winds that we could be seeing here. And this is radar indicated. All right. And damaging winds will cause some trees and large branches to fall. All right, this could injure anyone that is outside. All right, any homes and vehicles. And yes, I noticed that the flood warning was in Tyson's Corner. I know Jones RMJ is a big fan of that place, which is why I saw Tyson's Corner. I got pretty excited to see it. So you're welcome, Jones RMJ, for mentioning Tyson's Corner. And yes, they are in line for some big time flooding here. And we even have some marine warnings. So any boats that are on there, I hope you're certainly docked by now, because if you're not, it's not going to look too good for you. All right. And now let's pull this up real quick, see if we will close out of that. We will come back to it to see if there's any more updates for you guys. But back to the Storm Prediction Center map. The greatest tornado threat, the greatest threat for tornadoes is in place. And the greatest threat for tornadoes includes about Wilmington, Delaware, as well as Baltimore, Maryland, Washington, D.C., Arlington, and Alexandria, Virginia, even Columbia, Maryland. All right. So these are the areas that are in the highest threat or highest chance of tornadoes. But even outside of that, even a good threat is in place for places like Philly, Toms River, Allentown, Trenton, Camden, all some populated places. The place that can see some great tornado threats. All right, we're talking about maybe 38, close to 40 million, but probably around 38 to 40 million people under the gun for tornadoes. All right, even New York City is in that 2% tornado threat. And the damaging winds, the Mid-Atlantic, again, is going to be a target zone. Philly, Wilmington, Baltimore, D.C., Arlington, and Alexandria, Virginia. You guys are all under the gun for some dangerous damaging winds. We're talking about greater than 30% chance of this. And we're talking about, again, about 49 million people under the gun for that. And hail doesn't seem to be too big of a threat, but any of these storms can drop a lot of hail. All right, so definitely have to keep that in mind. But again, Philly, D.C., Arlington, Baltimore, the same region is included in that big-time hail threat as well. So, again, I want to show you guys where the tornado watch was highlighted, pretty much in that same area. We're talking about south central Jersey. We're talking about southeastern Pennsylvania. Pretty much the entire state of Maryland, except for like the western edge of Maryland. The entire state of Delaware, south central Jersey, if I haven't mentioned that, and northern Virginia as well. So, I'm noticing a lot of you guys are watching, but feel free to say something about severe weather in chat. I want to know if any of you guys are in line for the severe weather. Hopefully you guys, if you're under the line for the severe weather, if you're under the gun, hopefully you guys are sheltered. Hopefully you're taking the precautions. Hopefully everyone's doing okay. Now, let's actually get to the Weather Channel radar here as well to kind of show you guys how things are lining up. Actually, it doesn't seem to be working too well. Let's go to the National Weather Service radar. And to kind of show you, let me give it a little refresh, all right, just in case, because sometimes the Weather Service radar may have a slightly difficult time refreshing. And there we go. So we have a lot more severe thunderstorm warnings developing around Annapolis and just east of Washington, D.C. All right, and there is a lot of severe thunderstorm warnings lighting up the map currently. And even as it moved through Harrisburg, it's moved through York. It's getting ready to head towards Lancaster. So Lancaster, you are in the line of threat as well. We have a new developing tornado warning. I'll be taking a look at that in Baltimore. We also have one now for D.C., so you guys definitely need to be weather aware. All right, hopefully you have that plan in place. Get to the lowest level that you can think of, because Even if you don't have a basement, if you have a storm shelter, if you don't have that, the lowest floor, interior, separate yourself. Gotta put yourself in the middle of the house, separate yourself from those windows. That is very important. All right. So as you can see, just by radar radar here, northeastern Maryland up through Wilmington and Philly doesn't look too bad right now. All right, but that could certainly change over time. Any of these storms could fire. We've had a very good day in terms of our Cape energy. We have a lot of heat in the atmosphere and moisture, so these storms can fire up like that. All right, it doesn't take much. All right, even a place like Washington through Annapolis, Baltimore. All right, we're definitely in the thick of it here on the radar. So let's actually open up the radar here. I thought I had it pinned to my taskbar, but maybe not. So let's open it up this way. And while I'm at it, let me be smart here and actually pin it to my taskbar so it's easier for me to pull it up. Anyway, so back to the radar here. I wanted to investigate because we investigated some of the flood warnings. We investigated even some marine warnings and some severe warnings. But let's take a look and see if this radar app is picking up any tornado warnings. It don't seem to be, although the National Weather Service was saying that there are some tornado warnings in place for Baltimore here. All right, so let's go back to that. Yeah, so as you can see, we do have tornado warnings in place for Baltimore, for Washington, D.C. So hopefully you guys are in the lowest level. And I'm Cool Guy joined. He says hello. Well, hello, I'm Cool Guy. How are you? And let's actually see if we can pull up some of these storm tracks. Because the storm tracks, this is why I like using the Weather Channel radar right here, these storm tracks. These are very exciting storms to track here. And D.C. is under 7 alerts right now. So, yeah, not looking too good for D.C. So, first storm track here. This particular storm here, just south of Delaware, here is where the storm is located currently. You can see kind of like what they do for hurricanes, kind of like a forecast cone. So it's moving from a place like Glenwood and Abingdon. We're talking about Falston in line for this as well. So if I highlight this particular storm, it'll kind of give us like an analysis thread on it. All right. So the type of storm is a strong storm. As you can see, the flooding scale is a 4.5 out of 10 here. So a good flooding impact. This particular storm is moving through Delaware. Does have impact overall. It's a 1.5 out of 10 on the scale here. But we're talking about precip rates according to this, 3 inches an hour. So these storms are going to be producing very heavy rainfall. And like I said, these storms may be producing 3 inches of rainfall. All right, so 3 inches of rainfall, all right, in let's say an hour. But it may only last 15 minutes. Like, where did all the rain go? All right, there's still a lot of rain. It just fell in a shorter amount of time. All right, and it came a lot quicker. So we also have some storms, like for example, we're talking about Middle River, Essex, and Valley's Corners. We're talking about White Marsh as well. Could certainly see some dangerous thunderstorms. And this particular storm it's particularly like a hailstorm. All right, this particular one here. So again, places like Middle River, Essex, White Marsh, Valley's Corners, Bird River, just east of Baltimore. This storm probably actually just moved through Baltimore. Overall, its overall impact was greater than the other one at 2.335 out of 10. So this one does have a greater threat overall. Hail impact 3.3 out of 10 on the hail scale. Still the same flooding impacts too, 4.5 out of 10. I don't think this is quite right, but 9.6 inches an hour. I certainly hope not. I was taking a look at this map and I was looking at a storm over Florida and it said like 15 inches of rain per hour. It's not what happened. All right, so and Sarah Holland says hello from Florida. Well, hello, Sarah. So yes, Florida is definitely a spot that gets a lot of daily thunderstorms. Now Florida doesn't get these kind of severe storms every day, but Florida definitely does get some decent thunderstorms pretty much on a daily basis, especially during the summertime. So we actually do have a storm track here for, actually, why did the map just do that? All right, so we actually do have a storm track. This particular one probably has just left Delaware, actually, probably just left Wilmington Manor. All right, and it appears the storm is in Jersey, although I only see green on the radar. I don't see too much. Overall, the storm is a 0.4 out of 10, so not too bad. The flooding impact is a 1.3 out of 10, so this storm isn't too strong, this particular one. It's producing rainfall rates of a 0.5 inch per hour. Now, that's more accurate. So we still got some heavier rainfall for Penns Grove, for Wilmington Manor, for Pennsville Township here in Jersey. Now, I wanted to give you guys a look at this camera, and this is in DC, right? Now, keep in mind, in case you can see the small timestamp at the bottom, this is at 1 o'clock, and I wanted to show you how it has kind of changed over time. So this is 1:20 or so, all right? Let's pause that at 3 o'clock, and it doesn't look too bad, right? And our last check here was 5:15. I think I just missed it. So let's go back. There we go. So we're going to kind of take you through. This was actually yesterday. All right. Through midnight, it gets really dark. As you can see, it's a beautiful night. This is actually the Watergate Hotel in D.C. You wake up in the morning, it doesn't look too bad. All right, then we start to head through 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, and notice how the clouds start building, but notice how the sun is out. All right, and that's, I think, is a key thing as well, because if the sun is out, the atmosphere can definitely heat itself up, and that's not good. So look at this, 5 o'clock, and then the sky gets really dark over here, and then now we're back. That was back towards yesterday. So it's definitely changed from what we saw a couple hours ago there in DC. Now we have our overall severe thunderstorm threat. Let's go to that. And indicated by the orange, Coatesville, Philly, Medford, Atlantic City, Wilmington, down through Easton and Georgetown. You guys are all indicated by weather.gov, National Weather Service. You guys are definitely in a higher severe thunderstorm risk today. And the thunderstorm wind gust threat looks exactly the same as this map. All right, so the same exact areas, we do have an elevated thunderstorm wind gust threat. So looks like, let's see, probability of severe wind gusts of 58 miles per hour or greater within 25 miles of a point is greater than 15%. Anywhere shaded in that orange color. I believe the yellow color, it goes down to 10%, right? Less than 15%. And in that green color, there's no risk at all. All right, so how about the hail threat? What is our hail threat for today? Anywhere shaded in yellow. So Belvedere, we're talking about New Brunswick, Toms River, Atlantic City, Georgetown, Wilmington, Coatesville, Philly, all the way up through Allentown. You guys do have a hail threat, and a probability of an inch greater hail is less than 15%. It's a more limited hail. I don't think today is going to be necessarily a hail day, but we can still see a lot of hail possibly. And the greatest tornado threat will be from Chestertown, Wilmington, Delaware, and Coatesville, at least in this particular region. Anywhere in the orange. So again, Coatesville, Wilmington, and Chestertown are in the greatest threat for tornadoes. And greater or equal to 10%, the probability of a tornado 25 miles within a point. So be prepared to move in the strongest interior shelter that you have that's closer to you. Don't want to be outdoors. Certainly don't want to be outdoors or anything vulnerable. Don't be under those underpasses. That's not good either. That's kind of like a common myth about storms. Lightning, actually the greatest lightning threat is center town of Reading and just west of Reading actually have the greatest lightning threat, which is in the red color, which means widespread thunderstorms are expected, but still anywhere in the orange color can see just as much lightning and thunder. Anywhere in the yellow threat, I think the threat for thunder and lightning is a little bit lower. So I'm going to close out my radar again, and we're going to open it back up very shortly here, actually probably right now, to see if we have any other updates here. Hopefully they updated some of their alerts. I'm going to kind of see how these storms have progressed here. And so apparently for some reason they don't seem to be picking up on the tornado warnings. I'm not quite sure why. But there are certainly tornado warnings out there indicated by the National Hurricane Center. Or I'm sorry, the National Weather Service, excuse me. So let's go to the high def radar. Let's see, because I don't know which one I like better. The high def radar does look pretty cool, but I like the classic one because to me it looks a little bit more detailed. So let's activate that. I also want to show you guys some of the frontal systems that's kind of making this severe weather happen for today. So as you can see, we have a low pressure system here. We have our warm front that's kind of looking through. This is kind of like a darker map, isn't it? I should probably put up my green tool, my light green marker. And you can see here's the warm front, and to the south, this is where you really have your heat building. But to the north of it, it's kind of like a little bit cooler air, although it might feel a little bit muggy north of that warm front. But here's the low back here. We have a stationary front draped across. We're still seeing a lot of storms back towards West Virginia. We're still seeing a lot of thunderstorm activity. All right, but see, you can see the storms are developing right along this warm front. All right, and this is the front that's going to be sweeping through. All right, so apparently it is not picking up on the tornado warnings. I'm not quite sure why. For the winds are pretty strong as well. Like I said, for a severe thunderstorm, it's got to be above 58 mile per hour winds to really activate those severe warnings. So let's close out of that there, because you can see, let me actually turn the winds back on. Okay, the winds are on, awesome. So as you saw just earlier by the purple lines, the winds are coming out of the south near the warm front. There we go. So you can kind of see we have an onshore flow from that warm front for a place like Delaware Shore, the Jersey Shore, Atlantic City, Toms River, which is why, if you go back to the experimental thread here, this is why we have a good coastal flood threat today. All right, even though this is a severe weather live stream, there is certainly some coastal flooding as well. All right, so we're talking about Toms River. I should probably, so I'm gonna switch back to black now for some reason. All right, so now we're talking about Toms River. We're talking about well, the Atlantic City is shaded in green, so they're in none. But Toms River, Dover, Delaware, definitely Avalon and Wildwood, definitely some place I can see some coastal flooding. We can see spotty minor coastal flooding. All right, anywhere shaded in yellow, anywhere in green, you're all good. Green is good. No really coastal flood threat to talk about. And the swim risk for today is going to be high as well. The rip current risks are moderate because of those strong winds, so choppy surf, Delaware Shore and Jersey Shore. So a limited risk of swimming hazards imply that large waves and some strong currents are not expected on the shore. However, we still see some dangerous currents that form along those river mouths and those shoreline structures. So even those piers and the break walls, even when the waves seem to be at lower height. Now, let's get a refresh look at the National Weather Service radar here. Kind of get like a refresh look at this. And here we go. So as you can see, the severe warnings continue for DC and points eastward. We even have Baltimore. The tornado warning has likely been dropped for you guys. For some reason, the other app isn't really showing those tornado warnings. I don't know why. We do have a severe warning still for just south of Lancaster. This one could be dropping into, it looks like it's dropping south, maybe potentially through southeastern corner Pennsylvania, northern Delaware certainly as well. So let's go to the 1 hour rainfall. What is the hourly precip rate with some of these storm systems? Definitely looks like a lot of rain. Some of these systems are producing a spotty 1 inch plus rainfall rates per hour. According to this, I think it could be certainly more than that in some more localized areas. And then the storm total rainfall. How much rainfall have we seen so far from these storm systems? No one's actually picking up much. We're actually picking up about 1 inch of rainfall, but we might have to give this map some time to process. But we have seen 1 inch of rainfall in some regions. I think spotty locations could be certainly higher than that. But you have to watch for the tornadoes. You have to watch for the hail as well, and the damaging winds. All right. So again, let's go back to the radar here. You take a brief 60-second break here. At 6 o'clock exactly, I'll probably be coming back. Just a 60-second break. I will let the radar play on loop for you guys, and I will be back very shortly. And we are back. So whether that was 60 seconds or not, it is 6 o'clock now. Just want to give you guys a chance to get the radar here, kind of like taking the radar, and kind of show you still where we have a very powerful area of severe thunderstorms. And now we're on the dark version again. I got to switch back to green now. So those couple people that may just left, hopefully you guys are rejoining now. So Lancaster through east of York, again, severe thunderstorm warning, and this is looking very powerful here. Looks like the warning itself is progressing its way towards the east. So this may be updating actually. We're still in central Lancaster County, east central York County. Like I said, this is some of the slower moving of the systems that we've seen today. All right, this is only moving at 35 miles an hour. Sometimes these storms can move 60 plus miles per hour. And that's how fast they move. Then the wind threat could be even higher than that. So 60 mile per hour winds with this. We're talking about, let's see, Willow Street. We're talking about East York. We're talking about Lancaster. It's dropping south now, so Lancaster is still in the thick of it here. But it looks like the worst part of it is actually just to the southwest of Lancaster, Pennsylvania. All right, and there you go. It's just moved through Columbia. It's right there, just southwest of Lancaster here. And this is recorded about. This was actually this radar shot was taken about a few minutes ago, so it may actually be moving through Lancaster now. So even though it's not a tornado warning, I want you guys to treat it like one. And it looks like this has picked up on a tornado warning now. Thank goodness. All right, because we have some developing tornado warnings. So if you guys are just joining, welcome. And this is a perfect time to be joining because we have our tornado warnings out there. So let's dive right into it. This is for pretty much downtown Annapolis here. Like I said, these ones aren't moving as fast, so that's not good in terms of the flood threat. All right, so this is a tornado warning. It remains in effect until 6:30, so another half hour here for East Central and Arundel County. A confirmed tornado is located just southwest of Annapolis, moving east at 35 miles per hour. This was actually taken 4 minutes ago. This is a damaging tornado. It's a radar confirmed damaging tornado. So it is a confirmed tornado. I don't know if it says confirmed, but since it's a radar confirmed, it may be in the process of coming down. They may have confirmed it on radar, but it may be in the process of coming down. So impacts. For those in a direct path of a tornado touchdown, we can see some flying debris. We can see damage to roofs, siding, and windows. Some houses could be completely taken out possibly. So let's zoom in more on this tornado warning now that we now have an effect for Annapolis. And actually, I just saw the little airplane logo. I think the Annapolis airport is actually right in the middle of it almost. So that's not good for the airport people there that might be there right now. The worst of it is pretty much there right now. Actually, probably over the last few minutes and still right now, the worst of it is moving through Annapolis. So you guys can see the radar itself better. I'm going to take the warnings off briefly so you guys can just see the radar here. I know it might be a little bit kind of like a pain not to be able to see it. So there you go. State Highway 301, which is a very beautiful highway, by the way, very scenic. We're talking about State Highway 50 as well. Right there in Annapolis, and especially the southwest suburbs of Annapolis, the radar was picking up on some magenta right there in Bowie, in Maryland, but it has dropped. But we're still seeing some deep reds on the radar, and this is still a very dangerous situation, and this will eventually be dropping into the bay. And notice, this is why we could have a tornado threat potentially. We got those southern winds kicking up, and that storm coming from the west could potentially mean a westward spin. So this is why we're getting like that spin in the atmosphere, some tornado possibly. And this is a confirmed tornado, so the radar confirmed tornado there in Annapolis. So instead of turning the warnings back on real quick, I'm actually going to turn the watches on. Turn the watch opacity all the way up, and let's zoom out because I believe I just kind of wanted to show you guys. Let's see if we can see the tornado watch. I'll probably head back to the warnings so we can see the warnings now. All right, so let's actually do that. All right, let's go to warnings. There we go. Now it activates the watch. Okay, there we go. I had to turn the warnings on first. So anywhere in this pink region, all right, you can see it's a very large region. And keep in mind, even if it may not look that large, this is the Mid-Atlantic, okay? This has some very high populated areas. For example, Philadelphia, Baltimore, D.C., all very highly populated areas in the Mid-Atlantic region. All right, so again, your tornado watch includes everywhere shaded in pink. The northernmost spot in that tornado watch, I believe, is Allentown and Quakertown, going all the way down through Georgetown, Salisbury, and all the way down to Scottsville and Charlottesville, Virginia. It's the southernmost point within that tornado watch, excuse me. All right, and then we have our tornado warnings located right in the middle. So I know pink also represents tornado warning, so I'm going to take the watches off because that could be a little bit confusing. All right, let's take watches off. There we go. So again, now we have severe thunderstorm warnings now extending into a place like Easton in Maryland, which, I mean, it is east of the Chesapeake Bay, so I guess that kind of makes sense. So, very large area. Oh, I thought I had my marker on, sorry. Yes, a very large area of severe thunderstorm warnings, and also the tornado warning is within that. All right. This will be crossing, the worst of this will be crossing the central and southern Delaware soon. But keep in mind, keep an eye, even if you're in northern Delaware, we could be tracking this little storm cell that could be heading in that direction as well, has a little northerly kick. And then we have we'll see about this Lancaster storm. It actually looks like it's moving in a due east direction, maybe not dropping south. But we could even have potentially another round. These storms can spark out of nowhere, but these particular storms look like organized clusters. All right, now in aerial flood warning, again, Cockeysville, we're talking about Howard County, Carroll County, Baltimore County, Harford County, Baltimore County, all places that we are seeing as this aerial flood warning still. We could see another inch of rainfall on top of the couple inches of rainfall they've already had. And that is not good. All right, more rainfall on top of rainfall that we've already had is certainly not good news. So we're going to be ending very shortly here. Hopefully you guys are staying safe. I'm gonna get some last checks here on the National Weather Service radar. So let's go to base reflectivity. Actually, yeah, let's go to composite reflectivity. No, not composite, base velocity. That's what I meant to do. Because you can kind of see if those red and greens, you guys know the classic thing that the reds and greens are touching each other on the radar. If they're kind of combining, that kind of means that we're seeing those dangerous tornadoes forming. So there's your tornado warning. I can't quite see, but I do see some rotation. Wrong drawing tool. We do see some rotation located right in there. So anywhere within that tornado warning for downtown Annapolis, especially areas maybe just to the west and south of downtown Annapolis, but including downtown Annapolis, get ready for some dangerous conditions. Get ready for some dangerous severe weather, even if a tornado doesn't come over your house. There's still some dangerous tornadoes that could be out there as well. All right, so be very, very careful out there, guys. All right, so one last check at the radar, and there you go. We have those marine warnings as the storm is moving over the Chesapeake Bay. Get ready, Philly, Wilmington, and eventually Jersey in a couple hours or so. It will be moving over towards you guys. So thank you guys for watching this stream. Subscribe if you haven't already. Please like the stream as well. I do appreciate all support. Thank you guys very much for watching. I am the Weather Dude, signing off till next time, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.